What started as a group of girls stuck sitting in the front row together in PT school became a friendship full of laughs, cries, and of course, endless studying. We wanted to start this podcast to talk about all things PT and share our passion for the profession as well as the trials and tribulations that come with it. We're happy you're here and happy to share.
Okay, here we are with the none other than Nate Trinan.
Hello guys, how are you doing?
Nate, tell us a little bit about yourself. Share as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like. Maybe where you are currently in your PT practice and how you got there.
Sure, yeah. So right now I'm working in Sisseton, South Dakota, which is just a rural town, like 2,000 people, on an Indian reservation. I commute there every day. I live up in Fargo. Um, but I was obviously went to school with you guys for 6 years, met you, dove in 1 year late with you guys, but then you carried me along for 6 years after that, thankfully. So, yeah, graduated PT in 2023, took my boards that summer after, and then I've been just doing this since and just chugging along.
So I have to share just a little funny memory.
Oh, here we go.
You knew it was coming, Nathaniel.
So, right, it's Ange and I, second year of AT school. We kind of already have our class, yada yada. This guy is standing outside of our AT classroom, and I'm like, this guy doesn't look like any of our classmates. And he just looks at his paper and looks around, then looks at his schedule paper again and looks around. And I'm like, I think this guy's like in our class, but I've never seen him in my life. And it was just so funny because he looked like a cute little freshman puppy dog, except he's like, 6 inches taller than us. And then we found out, yeah, he's in our class.
Yeah. He's also just 3 days younger than us.
Yeah, this little puppy dog just good Lord, I'm getting torched.
Well, it was just funny. He kept looking at your paper.
Okay, I kept looking at my paper
because younger.
The schedule they had given me was just wrong, and I was just going to the wrong classes. So I was sitting there just sweating that I was going to do it again.
It's okay. That's happened to me, and it was really awkward because then they were like, "Are you in this class?" And I was like, "Well, I thought I was, but I'm really not." So peace out.
I was like, the very first class I had. I sat down. They're like, "Welcome to Music 101." I'm like, "I'm definitely not supposed to be in this."
But yeah, that's like my favorite memory of Nate. At that moment, I was like, we'll be friends. We'll take him under our wings that are little wings.
Well, I'm glad you did. It was a good thing for me, thankfully. Got some help.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun in undergrad and grad. But going back, so you just recently went to Guatemala. You did a very similar trip to us. And it was your first time in Guatemala. So tell us a little bit about why you chose to go as a clinician.
It was his second time.
Second time in Guatemala, actually.
First time as a PT.
First time as a PT, yeah.
First time as a PT. Tell us about both times. You know what I meant, sorry. First time as like a true clinician.
Yeah, so obviously you guys have been to Guatemala a number of times now. And so listen to your guys' last podcast. It's got obviously a special place in your heart. Similar to me, I guess. My dad has gone there, I think, 8 times, something like that. 8, 10, I don't know the exact number, but he brought me, he's also a physical therapist. He brought me when I was like probably 12 years old or so for the first time, just to kind of immerse yourself in a different culture and kind of realize what other folks are living with and what we are so blessed to have in the US, which I think is something that going back there this last time as well has just stood out immensely. I don't know how you guys felt, but when I go on these trips, you're always like, oh, you're going down to help. But I think the biggest thing is like you just take away so much to bring back like internally. And so, yeah, this was the second time I went back. But yes, first as a PT. And so, yeah, it was a pretty neat experience to get to do it this time where like last time I remember going out to the clinic, following my dad one day and seeing these people and then coming back this time and do it myself was kind of neat. And the really cool thing was I remember seeing some of these people like 15 years ago, like it was the same patients. Like the very first person I saw in Guatemala, I was like, I've seen this person before. So it was kind of neat seeing some of those folks.
That's just a wild memory.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
it was kind of neat because I was like, I think I know her. And then my dad came over because my dad came down when we went down this past time as well. And he was like, that's so and so. Do you remember her? And I was like, I think I do actually. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it was kind of neat.
I have horrible memory. I'm just wowed by your memory. But that's also like I feel a testimony on how impactful it was when you were 12 too. You know what I mean? Like you remember things that are are impactful and important. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was definitely that. She was also a very, very unique case. So
Mm-hmm.
that stood out a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few cool situations like that. Um, I fit a girl for, right. We had a gal that was a below knee amputee one day, and she had a prosthetic already. And then I'm like, when did you get this? And she was like, 20 years ago. I'm like, who gave it to you? And she was like, Pablo. He's a therapist. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna be back after lunch. We'll get you like fitted for a new one. And I was like, Dad, you got to come with. And walked in the door, and his name's Paul, which is Pablo. And he was the PT that had fit her for her prosthetic 20 years ago. So that was kind of neat to get to see their interaction and just see how grateful she was. And I mean, there were some tears shed by a few folks. So that was a neat experience. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things like that that just stand out when you do a trip like that.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that patient, but our group saw her too. So
Yeah.
it was super fun. Nate just texted us, was like, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool. Your dad's like an OG.
He is the OG.
He is kind of an OG. He is.
He is the OG.
Did he go on the first trip, right? He went on the first trip or no?
Yeah, so the very first Guatemala trip was actually not anything to do with big stone therapies, from my understanding. And I might not have this completely 100% right. So, but I came from a family of 5 siblings, and when they first went down there, my mom and dad wanted to take my siblings on a mission trip to kind of, like you said, expose them and kind of make them a little bit more rounded. And my younger brother and I, we were pretty young, so we didn't go. But that was the first time they went down there, and they kind of just went down there. My dad was kind of just freelancing it a little bit. Like they were set up with San Lucas and getting the whole thing, and he was just kind of going out and treating patients. And then it kind of grew into like he came back and it was kind of weighing on him. He was like, "We got to do something here. Like we got to do something here." And thankfully, he had some good coworkers around him that pushed him and kind of, because I think there was part of him I was like, but what do we do? Like, that's a big thing to undertake. And he had some good people in his life that he surrounded himself with that kind of stepped in and said, yeah, we are going to do something about this. And then they've kind of been able to be fortunate enough to make that trip happen for a number of people, and hopefully many more.
Yeah. We learned that Big Stone is the only therapy teams that come. San Lucas Mission has a lot of other medical teams like dentistry and physician and nursing, but Big Stone's the only therapy team. And so that's kind of
my
fun.
understanding. Yeah, it is pretty neat.
That our university pairs with it.
Yeah, that is another really cool thing. They do it with a couple universities because BST, they go down. You guys just went in August, obviously, and so they'll send a group down then. And then I went in March, and so every 6 months, and I don't know if that's exactly 6 months, but twice a year they go down and they go with our university, and then they go with a different one as well. So I didn't get to go with any the students that we went with, but I got to go and have work with some other students. So it was cool seeing them kind of get to see that firsthand. I mean, just like you guys are kind of talking about how neat that is.
Yeah. We were a little upset that Nate went in the spring and we went in the fall of the same year, but
yeah,
that's okay.
We'll go again together.
We will. I think that would be my biggest goal, is bring family, bring friends, just to kind of get the experiences that we've been lucky enough to have. I think it's just something that everybody, whether you're in the medical profession or not, you can help, and it would be very worthwhile for you to go down there.
Yeah.
You don't have to be this super outgoing person. It's good for everybody, I think.
Yeah, we actually had some family from the Big Stone staff come, and they were all like medical interested in like going, so they weren't quite in any programs yet. I think one was in OT school already, but so it's really cool how they let you bring a lot of other individuals. And so I have some other friends that work with Big Stone, and they said they'd bring me as a friend if they were going. I was like, okay. So
Yeah, it is neat. I know who you're talking about, and yeah, they've got a few kids and whatnot that are interested in it, and so just getting them to kind of be down there and see the many different ways that PT can kind of impact and do different things is a neat thing for sure.
yeah. And when you came back from spring, you had this vision of what you would hope could in the future happen with like medical mission work, specifically with Guatemala. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah. And like I said,
Yeah, he
this is just
minds.
something.
No, I'm kidding.
No. Well, and this is by no means something that I've put in place at all, but just something that I've been kind of thinking about. All right, what more can we do? It's great that like we're doing this, and it's great that we can go down and do this thing, but how can we kind of do more, I guess? And I think it would be neat, as I remember when I finished school, and I think Ange, you kind of said you kind of felt this way a little bit. And Bree, maybe it was the same for you. I'm not sure, but I feel like I wasn't quite ready to start working yet,
Yeah.
but I wanted to do something a little bit more as far as like I remember kind of looking into like the Peace Corps and like doing things along those lines where I could find a way to kind of branch out and just I don't know try to find ways to like be like the serviceman like we always talk about in school, something like that that could build me up a little bit more as a person. Maybe that was just me being scared to actually start get working. Maybe that was
No,
probably it.
me too.
But yeah, and so thinking about that now and thinking about we've been lucky enough to get down and do 2 trips to Guatemala every year. I think it'd be really neat if we could have like a full-time PT down there. And whether that would be, you know, a few people that are like, all right, going in 3 month shifts or 1 month shifts. But I think that it'd be cool to see if we could, do something like that. And maybe it is just, all right, somebody comes after right after they graduate and they say, I want to do a little bit something before you kind of hunker down because sometimes these trips are big. And it was easy for you guys probably and easier for me because we've done this before. But I think it's tough for somebody once they start getting into their career to then be like, all right, now I'm going to take this and put it on pause and now I'll just do this. So sometimes just doing it right away, I think is an easy way to reach out to people. So that's a little bit of something that I would like to see happen, but nothing that I've got really in the works yet, but it would be neat in my opinion.
Yeah, which is cool that you mentioned that because I remember you sharing that with me when you came back to the States in the spring. And so Bree, Grace, and I did a lot of like question digging to like the volunteer coordinators when we were in Guatemala because they have long-term volunteer positions that have to commit at least usually 3 months. And so we asked if they had medical long-term volunteers in the past, which they said that they did. But of course, that goes back to the aspect of I don't really know what their volunteer program looks like, but it would be hard to sacrifice time just graduating if that's like a truly volunteer program where you don't get paid or anything.
Yeah.
But that is a thought that Bree, Grace, and I have definitely looked into, asked about, didn't look into quite yet, but which be cool if that kind of meshed with your idea of how you would do like long-term mission there.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it would be a neat thing, but I'm not sure how it would work out. There'd obviously have to see some details that would be kind of worked with, but I think it would probably be with the mission down there. And they've obviously got pretty good, some things rolling already. So I think that it would have to be kind of a little bit of a bounce back and forth, but who knows? Like I said.
Yeah.
It's really fun to hear you guys talk about it. Like, I feel like I love mission work and I absolutely love Guatemala. But when I think of people who like truly love it, and are actually doing it or wanting to pursue it in a bigger way, I think of you too. So it's just really fun to kind of hear you guys talk about it and your passion regarding it. So
Yeah, thank you. But I think it's just one of those things. I think mission work like truly like can speak to everybody. You just need that push, I think, a little bit sometimes. And I've been very blessed that I've had that push coming from like my dad. Like I said, that was already kind of there. So it was an easy transition for me to, all right, I want to go on these trips. I think other people need a little bit more of that push. And so if nothing else, maybe that's where, we can sit here as people that have gone down there and give that to people around us. I've got a niece that's 10 years old, and next time I go down there, I'm like, it would be really cool to bring her down because I think like her mom has been down there, my sister, all these people. So I think it would mean something to her. And then, yeah, that just kind of plants the seed. So maybe it isn't some big thing that you get set up, but you're talking about seeing us talk about it, but I see it in you too, Brie. Like seeing like I don't think anybody goes down there and doesn't like thoroughly enjoy it and like have a little bit of like change to who they are.
Far on the way to volleyball, but I was just gonna say, can you still hear me? Can you understand me?
Yeah, the quality just went to doo-doo, but that's okay.
Okay, well, these are my last remarks because I have to get going and I'll let you guys finish up. But I was just saying, yeah, it would be pretty awesome to go with the students again, although we probably would, everyone wants to do that. So the chances of us doing that again with the university, with the students is kind of slim. So we were able to kind of do it. I would love, like you said, to bring everyone.
Come on, Dad. We're not going to be turning away PTs. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think there's some other people that host this podcast that could go down on a trip, be worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, every year I need at least like 2 weeks just in case I get that call. That's kind of like my hope and wish. But I will let you two guys finish talking it out. And Nate, it was so nice to see you kind of in the flesh, like via screen. But miss you a lot.
Good to see you too, Brie.
It's great to hear talk about this. Like I said, it's just really inspiring, and I think that's what helps other people do this kind of work is, like having an education about it and people who have done it. So keep doing great things. Love you guys.
Okay,
we'll see you, Brie.
Bree and Jackson are crazy. This is their third day of volleyball in a row. That's what they're doing.
It's a lot of volleyball.
It is. But they're really good, so it makes sense.
Good for them.
I guess Bree just does really well with questions. She's got like, with your with Big Stone, when you go, I guess what does that process look to bring friends or family? Like you're allowed to bring both, or is it just family? Is it also
no?
family?
You could you can bring anybody. They don't have. It's awesome if they have like a medical background, like if it's a nurse or like an OP or something along those lines. Because Big Stone will send down PTs, OTs. They sent down speech therapists. But we've also, like last time, I think you guys had one of our like administrative like workers that went down there as well. So not a medical background, but something like, again, that still is important to kind of the values of like that we speak to. And I think that's worthwhile for everyone. Again, not necessarily just a medical thing. So yeah, they'll kind of take whoever. It's nice to have that extra, but yeah, we're more than willing to go wherever.
Yeah, she was amazing.
You might have to pay your own way, but
I pay my own way every single time. I really do. I just don't get paid for 2 weeks. I just save up and pay my own way. But the administration assistant that came was just like amazing. She knew where every piece of equipment was. She's just great. And so I think that's something important to note too, because I know that some people feel kind of intimidated to do mission work, get intimidated, especially if it is medical. So that's why it's really nice as a student to go, because you do have individuals that are already licensed and practiced. And it definitely is, like we've talked about in other episodes, like a really great way to learn PT, because you have to break it down just a little bit more. And so especially I do think it'd be a great option for new grads as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for them. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a nice thing. I think it's what you learn from the culture as well. We had when we went, we had 2 administrative assistants go down there, and they were a phenomenal help to us when we were in the clinic. But then they spent 2 days kind of doing stuff with the mission itself, and like going to like the women's center and like learning from them, and like kind of
Yeah.
taking part in like these activities with some of the people there and those things, which means as like it was great for them because they were learning these things, but it means a lot to that community down there. I know
Mm-hmm.
that they're able to kind of show their culture and not just be seen as, I mean, because I think there's a lot, is just like anywhere, they've got a lot of pride in who they are as a people, and rightfully so. And so sometimes I think people kind of look at them and they're like, oh, well, these people need so much health. And they're like, well, we've been here, we can survive, we can do
Yeah.
these things. And they've got a lot of things to show off as well. And so that's one aspect that I think anybody can get out of is learning more about that culture, which I think is just beneficial to a lot of ways. Like, I don't know how you've thought about it, like seeing that different culture when now you're coming back and treating in the States. I think that's kind of been a neat thing as well, from my
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely love how you pointed out that they're not just a culture that needs to be helped. Like you said, they've been there, they've gone through their own civil war, X, Y, and Z. And I feel like some people also need to remember that. And it was really nice because I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode. If I did, sorry, I'm being redundant. But the medical coordinator just like talked with all of us, and he gave us a good reminder that we're not there to fix people. And as a PT or as a medical professional, that's not our job in general to necessarily fix an individual. And it just puts things in perspective because these individuals are all great just how they are already, and we're just supposed to assist them in any way that they need. And even if it's just listening to their subjective, their history and their story,
Yeah.
and that's it, usually that means more to them than any kind of treatment that you could give them in terms of healthcare. And so I really like to remember that because you do get complicated cases where you can't do everything, and sometimes you can't really do anything. And so in that case, just listening to them and a little manual goes a long way. Even though
Yeah.
in the States, people would be like, you spent your whole time on subjective and then you did only manual, and so it's really nice to, I also think, not have those barriers of insurance and
Sure. Yeah. No, I get
productivity,
that.
because you can just treat the patient how you really want to treat them and how you feel like they want to be treated, and you don't have to think about all of that.
Yeah, it was one thing I thought was like it's not only like it's treating the person more so, because I think sometimes we are bound a little bit, but obviously by insurance and whatnot, and it's patient centered. But I think down there it can be a little bit more person centered, which is really nice. I think that when you guys are talking, I think Grace said something along the lines of like just meet them where they're at, and
Yeah.
like that's literally like all it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like try to like change their lives, but meet them where they're at. Sometimes it's a mom that's bringing in like her child and she's like wondering what's going on here. Is there something? And there's not a lot that we might be able to do with the resources we have, but give that mother her support and let her know that, you're doing the best you can. And sometimes that's all you can do. And sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. So next question would be, when are you going again? Or hopefully going again?
I don't know. It's pretty neat. Like I said, Big Stone goes down twice a year. And it's just like such a blessing because we most of that's covered by Big Stone as far as our trip. Our like time off is reimbursed, so it's really, really a huge, huge benefit, and I think something that's really pushed. And so, understandably so, a lot of people want to do it, and Big Stone has grown into having a few different therapists and workers there. So I don't want to just be like, all right, I'm going to go this trip, and I'm going to go this trip because I think it's something that a lot of people should have the opportunity to go do. But I would imagine it won't be too terribly long. I'd like to go maybe sometime again in the next few years. But like I said, who knows? Maybe got to wait until my niece gets a little bit older. We'll see what my sister has to say about that.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean, because I mean, for me, it's just totally different. I mean, that's why I did travel therapy to begin, just so that I could have the flexibility, the extra savings to go on these trips. And so
Sure.
I just don't know anything else besides really just like taking time off that's
Mhm.
unpaid, and then just like paying to go there. So definitely different scenarios, but it's just like beautiful that there is an organization that has so much faith in it and love within that kind of like aspect that they allow that for their employees. And but that's also why Grace, Bree, and I have just been like dabbling on other ways we can go that might not be
Sure.
connected to the university, because like you said, it's a beautiful experience and you want to allow other individuals to do that. And I know there are
Yeah.
tons of other alumni that would want to go on the trip. But I will say I did make a little joke to the students, and I was like, share it if you like. I was like, because usually the professors would go every year with the students.
Mhm.
And now it's just getting a little bit tougher. And I was like, if I could just be like not the professor, but like the individual that just goes every year, like I'd be fine with that. But
Yeah, that would be neat. It was funny because I mean, you guys are obviously like we're all in the same class, so you guys weren't that far removed from these kids, and like that was how I felt when we were with this other university because they had two professors that went down. That was their chaperones, and so I just like was so much more closely like in age to like all the students, and I
yeah,
was like, oh, man, I'm supposed to be like the adult in the room here.
no, it's funny you say that because I felt the same way. And Grace, Bree, and I, we did a lot of like we need to be leaders, but we don't like our age is very similar, you know. We can be professional, but we can also
Yeah.
be friends, you know. And I mean, they were very close. My mentee was in the group, and so like I've known him for 4-5 years now already, and so it just felt very close. And it was funny that you say professors, because Big Stone leaders definitely were like, "Are you professors?" And we're like, "No," and they're like, "Okay, you're really young," so we weren't sure. But I did actually do a travel job with Big Stone, and I absolutely loved it. And so one of the Big Stone employees actually like knew who I was, I guess.
Was that Tia?
No, Pam.
Oh yeah, Pam's best.
She is so great. She's like, I know you. And I was like, do you?
Yeah,
But
Pam's great.
she is great. And so, yeah, I am curious what it would be like to go again, like with a bigger gap of like individuals in terms of age. I don't know. I don't think it'd really affect anything. But
Yeah, like I
I
said, it was just
definitely
kind of
felt
funny.
like just a buddy,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. And like it was
That's
like when
okay.
you're treating patients, it's a little bit different because like you are like obviously like you're with a patient, you're trying to
Yeah.
give them your best. But yeah, it was kind of funny. Like we'd be going afterwards and like the students be like, all right, we're gonna get like some beers. And they're like, well, Nate, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, I'll have a beer with you.
A beer. No, that's great. I love that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting though.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was kind of neat seeing. I mean, I'm sure this is probably how it was because when you guys went the first time, you went with professors, correct?
No, we went with alumni.
Oh, it was because
I
I mean,
know.
like it was kind of interesting seeing the dynamic because I mean, it's not like you're sitting there with, and it's just going to be able to like have the same relationship with your professors.
Yeah.
Like by the end of the trip, you could just see the comfort level had just changed immensely, like with
Yeah.
them, and they're like, well, this is gonna have to change once we get back. But
Yeah. No, that's fun. I don't think professors has gone since before COVID.
okay.
Yeah. But
And like that gets busy. I mean, they've all got kids and whatnot, so I get
yeah.
that. It's not something that you can just do all the time. But
Yeah. I would really love for them to go again though. If at least a few of them would be great.
yeah, I'm
But
sure
if
they
not, I'll be your person. Just
will.
kidding. Yeah. I guess my other question would be, when are you gonna come with me to Peru?
Peru would be a very cool trip. I haven't thought too much about that one.
I
I
ask
got,
you every year.
I know, I do. South America, everybody wants to go there. Colin wants to go to Argentina. You want to go to Peru? That'd be cool. That's
Yeah.
the thing too. I think sometimes people just like around us, like, well, like, Guatemala, like Guatemala. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of places you can go.
Yeah.
Like, and like they're all gonna have like a great like message. Like, I had the chance to go to Haiti when I was in high school, and like that was different and
Yeah.
like very cool. Also, like there's a completely different aspect of that. And I'm sure that's what you get in Peru. Like,
Mhm.
it's gonna be similar, but there's a different thing to that culture and that community that makes it special.
Yeah. So maybe put that on your calendar.
Yeah,
I'll
put it
text you
on
the dates. Well, the potential dates.
pin it. Sure.
Yeah. And if Colin doesn't want to do the medical mission part, that's okay. I'll stay back and hang out with him. That's what I did my
We'll get him.
first year. So I came early, hung out with my family, broke off, did the medical mission trip, And then when that ended, I just reunited with my family. And then we did some more things.
It's funny. I was actually texting Tyson, your SCS specialist.
Yes, he is our SCS specialist now.
When we were coming back, and I just sent him a text. My dad said, "When is that guy going to get his lane down there?"
I would love to just bring like all of our friends. I think, I don't know. Like I said in the other episode too, it's just fun to also I just like love seeing everybody like do their thing as a PT. I just think it's so fun. I don't know. Like I just love it. And to see other people practice and just like know where we began in that classroom. I just think it's a really cool thing.
It really has come a long way. It is kind of funny that way. And like working with the students, like you can tell, like you see yourself in them, and you're like, and they're like, oh, wow. And they're getting nervous. You're like, oh, it's all right. You're doing your best. That's all you can do. Just do your best.
So I don't know. Maybe we can make it happen one time.
That would be neat.
That'd be really cool.
Get the gang going.
Special. Yeah. But we've got 5 minutes left of our free Zoom call.
Oh no.
I have yet to upgrade it because who really wants to listen to a longer episode anyways? But
who wants to listen to me talk more than I already do? Good Lord.
You do talk quite a bit sometimes. But is there anything else you would like to add? A plug? Not a plug?
Not a plug, but just thanks for guys coming on here. And then, I mean, I think Bree's like, oh, what an inspiration. But I mean, you guys are doing it all the time. So that's neat. Yeah. It's pretty neat to see everybody kind of doing their own thing, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's neat hearing all these stories and everybody, because you don't keep up with everyone, but it's cool that you guys are kind of taking the headway on that, and you get to hear all these cool stories of what everybody's doing. It's really kind of
going to be like a class of, when did we graduate? Maybe not. Maybe I won't. Oh, I wasn't going to share it. Okay, that's fine. Class of 2023. Brooke likes to call it like a digital like journal / library, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that's a neat thing that you're able to do that.
Yeah, it only took us like 2 years. We always talked about it.
Well, you got there eventually. Some things take time. Remember that.
They do. So, yeah. Thanks for coming on, though. I mean, you're pretty big person to all of us, even though we're not everyone on the pod. But we've known each other for a long time, which is actually kind of wild.
Pretty big person. Bree said, "Who's this little freshman?" Came a long way. Came a long way since little freshman. Apparently,
little freshman Nate. Yeah, and then I think we got confused when we discovered that you were like the same age as us. I still don't know how that worked, but
I got also Bree saying that he's like, "Oh, this guy who's 6 inches taller than me, just like a foot."
Like a full foot.
Who are we joking? Bree's trying to sneak in a few inches there.
That's okay though. But all right, Nathaniel, always a pleasure. We will have you on again in the future sometime.
Right.
When?
All right, I look forward to it.
I don't know. Sounds good.
We'll see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Stay tuned. Might be a week, might be a month. Hopefully soon.